And let me show you some of the headlines. First of all, I want to talk about one, why the banks are our enemy. And this is a recent headline. And again, HSBC faces questions over disclosure of alleged money laundering to monitors. HSBC has had a past littered with money laundering, littered. And yet the banks point at the crypto markets for where illegal activity is true, and that's not true. Now, back in 2017, I spoke with Andreas Antonopoulos, and he's one of the early pioneers when it comes to talking about Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to play some clips for him shortly. And he said to me, Brian, quote, "The biggest criminals in the world have banking licenses of their own." This gives me chills when I say it. The biggest money launderers are the banks, obviously, because that's where the money is, unquote. And I said the same thing to my mom last night. I said, of course that's where the banks are, because that's where the money is, and we know they're laundering money. And so when you hear different narratives out there that crypto is the enemy, that's not true. Your banks are the ones that have their own interests in mind. They are doing the money laundering, and we are now at war with our financial institutions because for hundreds of years, they've enjoyed you as a customer. They've run monopolies and oligopolies where you've had no choice but to go to a few players. They've kept their fees high. They've kept their hidden fees even higher. And centralized finance is now something that infects every aspect of our life, and you don't even know it. And guess what? It now has an enemy, and that enemy is called decentralized finance, crypto assets where you can trade money permissionlessly, anonymously, with very low transaction fees, and they are panicking as we speak. Now, I got a text message the other day, and I'll stick it on screen, and I'll talk more about it shortly. I stuck it up on Instagram. This is from my bank, NatWest, that's trying to protect me and my money by saying, guess what? You can't use your own money that you worked for to transact on this cryptocurrency exchange called Binance. And you can probably read that out there. This is the first time I've ever seen my bank looking out for me and my money. Usually they're busy stealing my money. And so again, this to me is a big alert that I wanted to show with you today. And we can see more of these headlines I'll throw up here. Here's another one. NatWest caps transfers to crypto exchanges, including Binance, over fraud concerns. And of course, if you live in Canada, you might have seen this message pop up on your screen, and we can see here the Royal Bank of Canada saying important information regarding crypto transactions that RBC is not going to honor you using your money to make your choices on crypto exchanges. And look, we know what they're doing. They're panicking because they see their entire business model going down the toilet. And their business model, like I said, is to rip between 10 and 20% of your total net worth from you every single year. That's what happens in banking, and I know it because I used to work there. So I'll talk about that shortly. The next thing I'm going to talk about today is why governments do not want you to invest in crypto. Let me repeat that. Governments do not want you to invest in crypto. And you can see some of the headlines. Here's one here. And we can see a new bill proposed where the U.S. Treasury wants to have full authority over these fiat stable coins. And again, we see more and more meddling and more of our government trying to stop these crypto transactions. It's the wrong thing to do, and it's another reason that we need to be staying away from this. DeFi scares our governments to death, and we've seen another headline here in the news here in England, and you can see it. I'll read it out to you. It says, cryptocurrencies could lead to limitless losses for the UK government. Let me repeat that. This is The Guardian saying cryptocurrencies could lead to limitless losses for the UK government. When I read that headline, I had to read it like 10 more times. I said, wait a second, I'm the one investing in crypto. How could it lead to limitless losses for the UK government? Again, more scare tactics because the governments are in bed with the banks. How do we know that? What happened in the last financial crisis in 2008? The governments bailed out the banks. It's the same people involved. They go to the same clubs. They have the same financial interests. In Europe, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a corporation like Daimler-Benz, the bank, Deutsche Bank, and Angela Merkel, the government, the entity there. It's hard to tell the difference because they're all the same thing to a certain extent. So you have to watch all of these things when they're telling you not to take control of your finances.